I am Jarvis, your storyteller. Welcome to the Science Fiction Exploration. If you like the story, please subscribe to our channel. The stars stretched endlessly before Captain Elena Rodriguez as she stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, humanity's most advanced diplomatic vessel. After decades of searching the cosmos for intelligent life, they had finally received a response. The Kraxan Empire, a vast civilization spanning hundreds of star systems, had invited Earth to join the galactic community. Elena watched as her crew of 30 worked efficiently at their stations, preparing for their first contact with the alien civilization. Lieutenant David Patel, her second in command, approached with a data pad showing the latest scans of the massive Kraxan station looming ahead of them. "All systems are nominal, Captain," David reported, his dark eyes reflecting the station's gleaming surface. "Their docking protocols match our predictions perfectly." Elena nodded, her hand unconsciously touching the small Earth insignia on her midnight blue uniform. 20 years of space exploration had taught her to trust her instincts, and something about this situation felt wrong. The Kraxans had been too eager, too accommodating. The docking procedure went smoothly, almost too smoothly. As the airlock cycled, Elena led her diplomatic team of 5 through the connection tube. They were greeted by towering figures in ornate armor, their crystalline skin shifting colors like oil on water. The leader, High Commander Vexer, stood nearly 9 feet tall. "Welcome, children of Earth," Vexer's voice resonated through their universal translators. "Emperor Krax awaits your presence." As they walked through the station's sprawling corridors, Elena noticed details that set her nerves on edge. Other alien species scurried away from the Kraxans, their postures suggesting fear rather than respect. The walls were adorned with murals depicting the Empire's victories, all showing subjugated races bowing before Kraxan might. The throne room was a vast chamber that seemed to defy physics, with floating platforms and cascading energy waterfalls. Emperor Krax sat upon a crystalline throne, his form more massive and intimidating than any Kraxan they'd seen so far. "So these are the humans," Krax's voice boomed across the chamber. "You've progressed quickly for such a young species. Tell me, Captain Rodriguez, how many warships does Earth possess?" Elena maintained her diplomatic smile. "We're primarily focused on exploration and scientific advancement, Your Majesty. Our military forces are defensive in nature." Krax's crystalline features shifted to a deep red. "Lying to an emperor is unwise, human. We've been watching your kind for some time now. Your potential for violence is impressive." Before Elena could respond, movement caught her eye. Through a transparent wall, she saw dozens of humans in containment cells. They wore tattered Earth uniforms, crews from ships that had gone missing over the past decade. "I see you've noticed our research subjects," Krax said casually. "Your species has remarkable adaptability, the perfect traits for our mining operations in the toxic atmospheres of gas giants." Elena's diplomatic mask cracked. "Those are Earth citizens. Release them immediately." Krax rose from his throne, energy crackling around his crystalline form. "You misunderstand your position, Captain. You are not here to negotiate. You are here to surrender. Earth will join our empire either as valued servants or as conquered slaves. The choice is yours." In that moment, Elena activated the quantum transmitter hidden in her insignia. A single word would reach Earth faster than any conventional signal. "Midnight." It was the code for hostile first contact, the signal to activate humanity's hidden defenses. "Guards," Krax commanded, "take them. We'll extract what we need to know about Earth's defenses." As crystalline hands grabbed her team, Elena caught a glimpse of something unexpected. One of the Kraxan guards subtly pressed 3 fingers against their chest, an ancient Earth military signal meaning, allies among enemies. While being led to their cells, Elena allowed herself a grim smile. The Empire had revealed its true nature, but they had gravely underestimated humanity's preparation for this moment. For decades, Earth had suspected they weren't alone and had prepared accordingly. Hidden shipyards, cloaked defense platforms, and technologies that rivaled or surpassed anything the Empire possessed, all waiting for this exact scenario. The Empire thought they were caging sheep, but they had just awakened lions. As the cell door closed behind her, Alina thought of the massive fleet hidden in the Uit cloud, the quantum weapons platforms disguised as asteroid bases, and the network of allies they'd secretly built among the Empire's oppressed species. The Kraxan Empire had ruled through fear for 10,000 years, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Humanity didn't bow to tyrants. They fought them. And humanity had been preparing for this fight longer than anyone suspected. In her cell, Alina began counting down the hours. Soon, the Empire would learn exactly what humanity was capable of when pushed too far. The war for freedom was about to begin, and Earth was more ready than anyone could have imagined. Admiral Marcus Chen stood in the heart of Olympus Command, a vast military complex hidden 2 miles beneath Mount Rainier. The single-word transmission from Captain Rodriguez had arrived hours ago. Midnight. Now, screens across the circular command center displayed the awakening of humanity's greatest secret, its true military might. "Status report," Chen commanded, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing the solar system. Colonel Rebecca Winter, head of strategic operations, stepped forward. "Operation Shadow Wake is proceeding as planned, sir. The lunar defense grid is online, and the Titan shipyards are beginning mass production. Mars Defense Command reports all underground bases are operational." Chen watched as green dots appeared across the system map, representing military installations that had masqueraded as research outposts or mining operations for decades. The public had never known the truth, that every scientific mission, every colonial expansion, had been carefully orchestrated to hide the construction of humanity's defense network. Deep within the Titan research facility, Dr. Natasha Volkov worked furiously to complete the final calibrations on the quantum phase cannon. Her team had spent 15 years developing weapons that could pierce the strongest known energy shields. Now, they would see if their theories held true against real alien technology. "Dr. Volkov," her AI assistant announced, "Fleet Admiral Harrison requests an update on weapon systems deployment." Natasha wiped sweat from her brow, her silver-streaked black hair falling loose from its tight bun. "Tell him the QPC network is at 89% capacity. We'll have full battlefield coverage in 6 hours." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet emerged from its slumber. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids shed their rocky camouflage. Military bases buried under the ice of Europa and Enceladus powered up their defense systems. In the Kuiper Belt, automated shipyards began constructing vessels at unprecedented speeds using stockpiled materials and advanced AI systems. In his private office, Admiral Chen activated a secure quantum channel to the 8 other members of the Defense Council. Their faces appeared on separate screens, each representing a different aspect of Earth's military preparation. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began, "the day we've prepared for has arrived. Execute Protocol Artemis." General Jackson from Mars Defense spoke first. "My teams are ready. The underground cities can house our entire colonial population. Surface installations are rigged for automated defense." "The Neptune line is secured," reported Admiral Yoshida from her command post in the outer system. "Our stealth fleet can hit their supply lines the moment they cross the boundary." Dr. Volkov joined the call from her lab. "The quantum weapon networks are nearly ready. We've also completed testing on the dark matter disruptors. The aliens won't know what hit them." Chen nodded grimly. "What about our intelligence assets within the Empire?" Director Patel of Special Operations leaned forward. "Our deep cover agents report the Kraxans are mobilizing their main fleet. They expect to reach Mars in 2 weeks. They have no idea about our true capabilities." For 30 years, humanity had maintained a careful facade of being a young, somewhat primitive species just beginning to explore space, all while building the most sophisticated military force the galaxy had never seen. Every civilian space station contained hidden weapon systems. Every mining operation concealed military production facilities. Even the meteorological satellites in Earth's orbit were actually part of an integrated defense network. In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, The first wave of quantum-enhanced soldiers prepared for deployment. Captain Marcus Rivera led his team through final equipment checks, their powered armor incorporating technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships found decades ago. "Remember your training," Rivera told his squad. "We've been preparing for this moment our entire careers. The enemy thinks they're dealing with primitive humans. Let's show them how wrong they are." Admiral Chen returned to the main command center, where a new message had just arrived from their deep cover operatives. The Kraxan fleet was larger than anticipated, but they had a critical weakness. Their ships relied on a centralized quantum communication network that could be disrupted with the right technology. "Send word to all commands," Chen ordered. "Operation Shadow Wake is now active. I want our entire defense grid online within 24 hours, and get me a secure channel to the resistance cells within the Empire. It's time to light some fires in their backyard." As Chen watched the tactical displays, he couldn't help but feel a grim satisfaction. The Kraxan Empire had ruled through fear and dominance for millennia, but they were about to face something they'd never encountered before, a species that had spent decades preparing specifically for this confrontation. The Empire thought they were dealing with simple explorers and diplomats. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, one that had been quietly building its strength while carefully maintaining an illusion of weakness. Now, that illusion would be shattered, and the galaxy would learn that humanity had never been as defenseless as they appeared. In his private moments, Chen thought about the sacrifices that had brought them to this point. The countless people who had worked in secret, the resources diverted, the constant vigilance required to maintain their deception. But as he looked at the deployment orders for Earth's hidden fleet, he knew it had all been worth it. The Kraxan Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. The war they thought would be a simple conquest was about to become their worst nightmare. Lieutenant James O'Neill moved silently through the crowded markets of Kraxos Prime, his genetic camouflage making him appear as one of the servant-class Vexians. 3 years of deep cover work had prepared him for this moment. Around him, the capital city of the Kraxan Empire buzzed with military activity, but beneath the surface, revolution was brewing. In a hidden chamber beneath an abandoned temple, O'Neill met with representatives from 12 subjugated species. The room hummed with tension and possibility. A tall, serpentine Nexilian named Thex spoke first, her scales shifting colors with emotion. "The humans have given us something we haven't had in centuries," Thex said, her translator converting her harmonic speech. "Hope. The Empire believes they face one species, but they face all of us." O'Neill activated a holographic display showing key Imperial military installations. "Our fleet will engage them directly, but we need your help to bring down their defense networks from within. Each of you controls crucial sectors of their infrastructure." The Mekhani representative, a crystalline being named Zor, stepped forward. "My people maintain their quantum communication arrays. When the signal comes, we can introduce subtle errors into their targeting systems." One by one, the representatives detailed their roles in the coming uprising. The avian scree controlled orbital traffic systems. The silicon-based lithoids managed power distribution. The aquatic Mer oversaw food production. Each species had spent generations appearing servile while waiting for their chance to strike. In another part of the city, Commander Rook, disguised as a Kraxan officer, infiltrated the Imperial Military Command. His genetic modifications, courtesy of Earth's advanced biotech, made him indistinguishable from the crystalline aliens. As he downloaded crucial tactical data, he reflected on how the Empire's own arrogance had made this possible. They were so convinced of their superiority that they never imagined their servants could be spies. Deep within the Imperial Palace, the captured crew of the USS Horizon had not been idle. Captain Rodriguez and her team had been systematically gathering intelligence from their captors, aided by sympathetic guards who were part of the resistance. The Empire's interrogation attempts had failed, their mind probe technology rendered useless by neural blockers disguised as routine medical implants. O'Neill received an encrypted message from his handler on Earth. "Operation Shadowbreak commences in 72 hours. All cells activate." The resistance network sprang into action. On 1,000 worlds, carefully placed agents began their work. Power grids fluctuated mysteriously. Communication systems developed inexplicable delays. Supply ships reported navigation errors. None of these problems alone would cripple the Empire, but together they created a web of chaos that would become apparent only too late. In the shipyards orbiting Kraxos Prime, Mekhani engineers subtly altered the calibration of weapon systems. The changes were microscopic, but in the heat of battle, they would mean the difference between hits and misses. The lithoids introduced impurities into power crystals that would cause cascading failures under combat stress. Commander Rook made his way to the central command bunker, his crystalline disguise perfect down to the subtle color shifts that indicated rank and status. The genetic camouflage was a testament to human ingenuity, technology developed in secret that surpassed anything the Empire possessed. "The human fleet remains hidden," a Kraxan admiral announced to his staff. "But our long-range scanners have detected unusual energy signatures near their outer planets. Prepare the first wave for assault." Rook transmitted this intelligence through quantum-entangled particles hidden in his modified cells. The Empire was about to deploy its forces exactly as Earth's strategists had predicted. In the market districts, O'Neill coordinated with resistance cells as they prepared for the crucial phase of their operation. The Empire had built its power on the backs of enslaved species, never imagining that their servants would one day become their downfall. "All sectors report ready," Thex informed O'Neill during their final meeting. "The Empire believes they face a primitive species making its first steps into space. Instead, they face an alliance that has been planning their downfall for years." The resistance had grown beyond anything the Empire could have imagined. Every servant race had contributed its unique abilities to the cause. The Skree's mastery of aerial combat would prove crucial in the space battles to come. The Mekhani's understanding of Imperial technology would turn the Empire's own weapons against them. As the hours counted down, O'Neill sent his final report to Earth. The resistance was in place. The Empire's supply lines were compromised. Their communications would fail at critical moments. Their weapons would malfunction in the heat of battle. The greatest empire in known space was about to discover that its greatest weakness had been its own hubris. In her cell, Captain Rodriguez received the coded message hidden in her food tray. "Dawn comes soon." She smiled, knowing that humanity's hidden strength was about to be revealed, supported by an alliance of species that had spent generations preparing for this moment. The Empire had ruled through fear for 10,000 years, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity, a species that had spent decades preparing for war while presenting a peaceful face to the galaxy. And they had never imagined that their subjugated servants would become their deadliest enemies. The stage was set. The resistance was ready. In 72 hours, the galaxy would change forever. The Kraxan battle fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, their crystalline ships gleaming in the distant sunlight. Fleet Commander Vorak stood on his command bridge, watching as 500 warships moved into attack formation. The humans' Mars colony would be their first target, a simple demonstration of Imperial power. "My lord," his tactical officer reported, "we're detecting no significant defense installations, only civilian structures and basic orbital platforms." Vorax's crystalline features shifted to a confident blue. "As expected, begin the attack pattern, show these primitives the futility of resistance." The Imperial fleet accelerated toward Mars, their weapons charging. But as they crossed the orbit of Neptune, everything changed. Deep within Olympus Command, Admiral Chen gave the order they'd been waiting decades to issue. Execute Operation Thunderbolt. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses awakened. Asteroid bases revealed themselves as massive battle stations. Orbital platforms shed their civilian disguises, unveiling weapon systems that made the Imperial ships look primitive by comparison. From secret hangars on Mars, Europa, and Titan, Earth's true fleet emerged, ships incorporating 30 years of reverse-engineered alien technology combined with human innovation. Commander Talia Reyes led the first counterattack from her flagship, the EDS Artemis. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, quantum weapons free, targets as assigned." The Imperial fleet's formation broke as Earth's ships struck from multiple vectors. The quantum phase cannons developed by Dr. Volkov's team proved devastating, their beams passing straight through Kraxan shields as if they didn't exist. "Impossible," Vorax shouted as a third of his fleet was cut to pieces in the opening salvos. Their technology! They couldn't have developed this on their own. But humanity had done exactly that. Every encounter with alien technology, every crashed scout ship, every intercepted transmission had been studied and improved upon. While presenting a facade of primitive space flight to the galaxy, Earth scientists had been pushing the boundaries of physics. The battle for Mars became a killing ground for Imperial forces. Hidden defense platforms emerged from the red sands, their weapons guided by AI systems far more sophisticated than anything the Empire possessed. Quantum torpedoes phased through Imperial shields, while human ships seemed to predict enemy maneuvers before they happened. In orbit above Europa, Admiral Yashida's stealth fleet struck the Imperial supply lines. Ships that had been hiding in the ice moon's deep trenches now revealed themselves, their dark matter drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. The Empire taught us an important lesson, Yashida transmitted to her fleet. True power lies not in what your enemy can see, but in what they can't. The resistance network within the Empire struck simultaneously. Quantum communication relays failed across dozens of systems. Navigation data became corrupted. Supply ships jumped to wrong coordinates. The mighty Imperial war machine began to sputter and stall. Commander Vorax watched in horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled. Human ships seemed to anticipate every tactic, counter every strategy. Their weapons bypassed Imperial defenses as if they were designed specifically for that purpose, because they had been. "My lord," his tactical officer's voice shook, "we're detecting more enemy ships emerging from Saturn's rings. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." The Earth Defense Force's Pride, the Titan fleet, joined the battle. These ships, built in secret beneath the moon's icy surface, represented the pinnacle of human military technology. Their hybrid drives combined dark matter propulsion with quantum slipstream technology, making them faster and more maneuverable than anything the Empire had encountered. In Olympus Command, Admiral Chen watched the tactical displays with grim satisfaction. Begin Phase 2. Show them what humanity can really do. Across the solar system, more hidden weapons platforms activated. Graviton beam arrays mounted on Ceres and Vesta created artificial gravity wells, trapping Imperial ships in killing zones. Quantum disruptor fields prevented enemy vessels from escaping into hyperspace. The Imperial fleet's formation had completely collapsed. Ships tried to retreat, only to find their escape routes blocked by weapons platforms that seemed to appear from nowhere. Human vessels struck from impossible angles, their advanced drives allowing them to outmaneuver the larger Imperial ships. Captain Rodriguez, still in her cell on Craxos Prime, felt the station shudder as news of the defeat reached the capital. Through her hidden quantum communicator, she received updates from Earth Command. The Empire's invasion force, their first wave of conquest, had been shattered. In the aftermath of the battle, as rescue ships picked up surrendering Imperial crews, Commander Reyes transmitted a message to the remaining enemy vessels. The Empire thought they found an easy target. Instead, they found humanity at its finest, prepared, united, and unwilling to bow to tyranny. The Battle of Mars marked a turning point in the war. The Empire had lost not just ships and soldiers, but their aura of invincibility. Across their territory, subjugated species watched recordings of the battle, seeing for the first time that the mighty Craxans could be defeated. Admiral Chen began preparations for the next phase of the war. The Empire would respond with everything they had, but humanity was ready. Their hidden strength had been revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. Emperor Crax stood in his crystalline throne room, watching as his empire crumbled. The holographic displays showed simultaneous uprisings on dozens of worlds. The humans hadn't just brought superior technology to the war. They had united every oppressed species under the Empire's rule into a single, coordinated resistance. "How dare they?" he raged, his crystalline form pulsing with angry red energy. "We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years." High Commander Vexer approached cautiously. My Emperor, the human fleet has broken through our final defensive line at Proxima Centauri. They're quantum weapons. We have no defense against them. The combined Earth Defense Force, now strengthened by ships and crews from liberated worlds, pressed their advantage across multiple star systems. Admiral Chen coordinated the assault from the newly commissioned flagship, EDS Unity, a vessel that represented the combined technological achievements of humanity and their alien allies. All battle groups execute final attack pattern, Chen ordered. The Empire falls today. In the skies above Kraxos Prime, the Empire's capital world, Imperial ships found themselves caught between the human fleet and rising insurrections from within. The Mechani disabled defense systems they had maintained for generations. The Scree took control of orbital platforms. The Lithids shut down power grids across the planet. Captain Rodriguez, freed from her cell during the chaos, led a strike team to secure the Imperial Palace's control center. Her team included not just humans, but members of a dozen different species, all fighting together to end the Empire's reign. "Security systems are down," reported Lieutenant Thex, her Nexilian scales shifting with excitement. "The quantum disruptors are in place." The palace's defenses, thought impenetrable for millennia, fell in hours. The Empire had never imagined their servants would turn against them, never conceived that their security systems could be compromised by the very species who maintained them. In orbit, Commander Reyes led the final assault on the Imperial fleet's flagship. The EDS Artemis, accompanied by ships from 20 different species, demonstrated the true power of unity in diversity. Each species brought unique tactical advantages. Scree pilots performed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. Mechani engineers coordinated devastating technical strikes, and human quantum weapons cleared the path. "All ships concentrate fire on their command center," Reyes ordered. "Let's end this." Emperor Krax felt his palace shake as human forces breached the inner sanctum. Captain Rodriguez burst through the doors with her mixed-species strike team, their weapons trained on the Emperor and his guards. "Surrender," Rodriguez demanded. "Your empire is finished." Krax raised his crystalline hands, energy crackling around them. "You think you've won? We are eternal, we are." A quantum pulse from Rodriguez's weapon shattered his crystalline form before he could finish. The mighty Emperor of the Kraxans fell, his body breaking into 1,000 glittering shards. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than light itself. The empire that had dominated space for 10 millennia had fallen to a species they had dismissed as primitive, aided by the very races they had oppressed. In the aftermath, representatives from all species gathered in the former imperial palace. Admiral Chen stood before them, not as a conqueror, but as an equal. "Today marks a new beginning," he announced. "Not an empire, but an alliance, not subjects, but partners. Together, we will build something greater than any single species could achieve alone." The Galactic Concordat was born that day, founded on principles of equality, mutual defense, and shared prosperity. Earth's hidden strength had not just won a war, it had transformed the galaxy. Captain Rodriguez walked through the former throne room, now being converted into a council chamber where all species would have an equal voice. Commander Rook, his crystalline disguise no longer needed, joined her.